In this lesson, we will be talking about dividing whole numbers. The question we should be able to answer at the end of the lesson is, how do I divide whole numbers? We're going to start by looking at an example that uses smaller numbers so that we can review the process of long division. The number that's being divided, in this case 824, the number being divided goes inside the division symbol. We are dividing that number by 7. To start the process, we look at the number 7 and we try to figure out how many times that number goes into 8. In this case, 7 goes into 8 one time. Whenever you put a number on top, that number multiplies to the number being divided. So 1 times 7 is 7. That goes underneath the 8 so that we can subtract and see how much we have left over. 8 minus 7 is 1. Now we bring down the next number, which is the 2. We're going to start this process all over again. 7 goes into 12 how many times? Well, that would be once. 7 goes into 12 one time without going over. So we take that 1 and multiply by 7 and get 7. Again, we're going to subtract to find out how much is left over. 12 minus 7 is 5. And then we bring down the next number. So the process starts over again. 7 goes into 54 how many times? Just knowing my basic math facts, I know that 7 times 7 is 49, and 7 times 8 is 56. 56 is too high, so I'm going to put a 7 up here. So 7 times 7 is 49. When I subtract, I get a remainder of 14 minus 9 is 5. A remainder of 5. I know it's my remainder and that I should not continue on because there are no numbers left to bring down. So the way we're going to write our final answer is we're going to take the number from the top, 117, and then we're going to make a fraction with the remainder and the number we divided by. So our final answer is 117 and 5/7. Let's look at a problem that's a little bit more difficult. These numbers are bigger, so we may have to rely on a calculator to work us through the process as we guess and check numbers that might work, or you can do it on the side like I will show you. Again, we're going to set it up with 5,614 inside the division symbol, and we're dividing by 32. Our first step is to decide how many times does 32 go into 5. 32 does not go into 5, so I'm going to place a little X there to remind myself. So now we look at 56. How many times does 32 go into 56 without going over? On the side, if I add two 32s, I'm going to get 64, and that's too big. So 32 goes into 56 one time. I take that 1 and I multiply it by 32 to get 32. And we have to subtract to see what's left over. 6 minus 2 is 4. 5 minus 3 is 2. So we have 24 left over. I'm going to bring down the next number, which is a 1. So now we start this process all over again. We need to decide how many times does 32 go into 241. I'm going to continue to add 32 on the side here. Another 32 gives me 96. Then I get 128. And then 160. 192, 224. I'm getting close. I'm going to add another 32. And I'm at 256, which is over the value I'm looking for. Remember, I'm looking for the number 241. So if I count the number of 32s, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 32s gave me an answer of 224. So I'm going to put a 7 up here. And we said 7 times 32 is 224. Now I must subtract to see how much I have left over. And subtracting this time, I'm going to have to borrow from the 4. So 11 minus 4 is 7. 3 minus 2 is 1. 2 minus 2, I write nothing. So now I drop down my next number, which is a 4. And I have to determine how many times 32 goes into 174. Well, this 192 is too big. So the number I'm looking for is 160, which is 5 32s added together. So I'm going to put a 5 up here. 5 times 32 is 160. I'm going to subtract to see how much is left over. 4 minus 0 is 4. 7 minus 6 is 1. 1 minus 1, I write nothing. So my remainder is 14. There are no more numbers to bring down. So the final answer to this problem is 175. And then we're going to make our fraction with 14 over 32. And if you notice, 14 over 32 can simplify. So I'm going to put or 175. If I divide the fraction numbers both by 2, I'm going to get 7/16. That is our final answer for this problem. Next, I would like you to pause the video and try this problem on your own. Okay, to set this problem up, we first put 4,976 inside the division symbol and divide it by 21. The first thing we want to ask is how many times does 21 go into 4? 21 does not go into 4 because it's smaller. So then we ask the next question, how many times does 21 go into 49? So if I add some 21s over here, I know that 21 plus 21 is 42, and if I add another 21, 63 is too high. So 21 goes into 49 2 times, and 2 times 21 is 42. I subtract to see how much is left. 9 minus 2 is 7. 4 minus 4 is 0, so I write nothing. The next step in the process is to drop down the next number, which is a 7. How many times does 21 go into 77? Well, on the side here, I did 3 21s to get 63. If I add another 21, I get 84, which is too high. So it looks like 1, 2, 3 21s make 63. So I'm going to put a 3 up here. 21 times 3 is 63. And I'm going to subtract to see how much is left over. 7 minus 3 is 4. 7 minus 6 is 1. I have to bring down the next number, which is 6. Now we need to determine how many times 21 goes into 146. So on the side I'm at 84. I'm going to add 21 to get 105. Add another 21 to get 126. I'm going to add another 21. And I get 147, which is a little bit too big. So if I go up to 126, that means I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 21s. So I put a 6 on top. We know 6 times 21 is 126. And I subtract to see what's left over. 6 minus 6 is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0, so I write nothing. That is our remainder since there are no other numbers left to bring down. So our final answer was 236 and 20/21. Hopefully you did okay, and there weren't a whole lot of questions on that process. But if you do have questions, we will talk about them in class later. Thank you.